Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy IAS. So this is our topic. Droughts can drive antibiotic resistance in soil bacterium. Research finds. Now we'll understand this. This is a new thing that has been found in the research, and already UPSC has asked a few PYQs that are based on antibiotic resistance, drug resistance, all that. Okay, so we will be covering all of it. Now first thing, what has come out in the research? So drought increases antibiotic resistance in soil. Now how it works, see, very simple. I will give you an understanding, then all the other things becomes factual. Let's see what happens if this is soil. Okay, now if the soil is going through drought conditions, when it is going through, it has been observed that most of the, like, soil already has some antibiotic elements to it, correct? Now what happens, that during the drought time, most of the natural antibiotic component gets staggered in a particular place. Okay, now because of that, the microbes or the bacteria that grow here in this region will be what? They will already be antibiotic resistant. Otherwise, they won't survive, correct? So, just by natural selection only, in cases of drought related regions, you will see that the microbes are already antibiotic resistant. And that is a major issue that has been connected here. Now let's see this. Researchers from California Institute of Technology, Caltech, found that drought conditions can increase levels of antibiotic resistance in soil bacteria, correct? Then now the study project that by 2050 several parts of India and other drought prone regions could face severe challenges related to antibiotic resistance mechanism, concentration of natural antibiotics. See this, when soil dries due to drought stress, the concentration of naturally occurring antibiotics increases, favoring the survival of resistant bacteria. This only we have understood. So what will happen? More and more resistant bacteria will survive, other bacteria will be dying. And now if only resistant survive, they only will reproduce, and that is why more and more bacterias will become what? They will become antibiotic resistant. Now why this is so important? Because many of the antibiotic itself are made from soil bacteria, correct? For example, streptomycin, you might have heard of, correct? Those come from soil bacterium only. There are many such medicines, so they will become resistant to all of them. Now soil is a major source of antibiotics. Soil microorganisms have historically been an important source of antibiotics. Example, many antibiotics were originally derived from soil bacteria. Example I gave you, streptomycin. Then drought effect confirmed experimentally. So what the scientists did, they took a soil sample, okay, in the incubation lab, and then they provided less water to it so as to create drought like conditions. And then they found out that resistant bacteria survived better under dry conditions. So once you can take a normal soil sample, normal water condition, everything normal, and then you saw that how the bacteria were reacting, and then you took a dry sample and it was found that resistant bacteria survived better under dry conditions. Then now, beyond pollution, environment itself drives resistance. Now, the earlier understanding of antibiotic resistance was mainly around that humans are not using it properly, improper dose, correct? When you are taking dosage of antibiotics even when it is not required, all those reasons were given, correct? Now, here we are seeing that the role of abiotic factors in proliferation of antibiotic resistance. So the study suggests that antibiotic resistance is not driven only by anthropogenic contamination. Environmental stress such as drought can independently promote resistance evolution. So drought is a completely abiotic condition, correct? There also it can lead to increase in antibiotic resistance. Then climate change may worse ABR. Why? Because climate change may worsen cases of drought, correct? So if drought conditions worsen, then ABR will also get worsened. Understood? Then resistance can move from environment to humans. Now understand how this works. So this is called horizontal gene transfer. Now what happens here? So basically, let's say you have a bacterium 1 that is resistant to all of this. Now this bacterium 1 will try to interact with other kinds of bacteria, correct? Now this bacterium 2 also get those genes, because of it which it becomes resistant to a particular antibiotic. Now let's say this bacterium 2 causes some disease in humans. Now what will happen? When you take antibiotic, you won't be able to fight this bacterium now, which you were able to fight earlier. Understood? So because of this horizontal gene transfer, slowly and slowly what will happen? More and more diseases will become drug resistant. Like one major issue we are seeing is in case of TB. There is multi-drug resistant TB and XDR TB. Correct? Then India is particularly vulnerable. Why we are particularly vulnerable? Because India's drought-prone regions often overlap with areas that have high antibiotic use, and also they have high poverty also, because India is still very agricultural dependent. So the regions which have drought also have poor population, also will have heavy antibiotic use, and all this culminates into a major catastrophe that can be caused because of this. Then last is this need for One Health approach. Experts recommend integrated monitoring of soil, water, animals, humans, microbial communities, along with strong vaccination and surveillance system to reduce disease burden and antibiotic resistance amplified by climate change. So One Health approach, we have talked about this gazillion times. So basically, all the abiotic components, soil, water, then all the animals, plants, microorganisms, humans, all these must be healthy for humans to remain healthy. If any of these component is facing issues, then that will eventually get transferred to humans also. That is why One Health approach becomes important. Then there was a mains 2014 question that was based on this. So it talked about that because in India antibiotics are available even without doctor's prescription, that's why people tend to overuse it and sometimes just use it without any consultation, anything. Now because of this leads to emergence of drug resistant diseases in India. And what are the available mechanisms for monitoring and dealing with this issue of drug resistant diseases? So for this you can write an answer. Okay, then let's see one more question that came in prelims. So this was a question from prelims 2019. Now which of the following are reasons for occurrence of multi-drug resistance in microbial pathogens in India? Now incorrect dosage of antibiotics in to cure disease, correct, absolutely correct. This we have talked about. Then using antibiotics in livestock farming, what do you think? Yes, because if the livestock has this, then it will, we consume products from livestock, like we drink milk, we eat meat, correct? Even if we are not using it, then the livestock is actually excreting on whatever soil and everywhere that you are, from where you get your vegetarian food also. This is also correct. Now genetic predisposition in some people, will that lead to antibiotic resistance? No, that person may suffer, but will it cause antibiotic resistance in the community? Antibiotic resistance, when we are talking about, sorry, multi drug resistance, when we are talking about, it is talking about certain pathogens that have become multi-drug resistant. Now, will that happen because of genetic predisposition in some people? No. He may face problem, but not in the entire ecosystem or society. Then, multiple chronic diseases in some people. Again, can you see how they have framed the option? That is, they are connecting personalized health unnecessarily to community health issues. So that is why these two are wrong, these two are correct. Answer becomes B, 2 and 3. This was from UPSC 2019. With this, we are done with this topic. That's it. Thank you.